This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Bredow. But before that, this video is brought to you by Todd Templar and Chasey Dog. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Bredow map can be found at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. So let's read a little bit of the description. The map is based on the real replica of Bredow. Bredow is located in Germany. The map includes fields and meadows from under 1 hectare to up to 55 hectares in size. The map features complete place of Bredow with surroundings, a small yard for field management and forestry, a true to the original replica of the machine hall and shelter of the yard, external court with adjacent construction area for expansion, animated gates and many entryways, and the machine hall, 7 productions including a sawmill and biogas plant, 3 sell points, a river and a pond to get water from, 41 small and large fields and meadows, several forest areas, independent repeated purchase of fermentation residues aka digestate, at the biogas plant is possible, and 5 construction areas for the expansion of your own yard or for multiplayer purposes. So let's go ahead and jump on in to the map. Now I did load this map up in farm manager mode, and when you do so, the starting area is exactly how you're going to see it here in new farmer mode, with the exception that you do not own any machinery. You also do not own any land in farm manager or start from scratch. As you can see, the map loads up fairly quickly and error-free. And here we are. So let's go ahead and take a look at the main map here. If you take a look at the lands area, you're going to see that we cannot buy the main town. We can buy fields and such around the main town, but this whole area here within the center of the map is indeed unbuyable. We also have a plot over here that is unbuyable. But most, for the other part, you can buy individual field plots. There are a few areas that include fields and a little area around them. But for the most part, most of these fields are buyable for just the field alone. Let's take a look at some of these field prices. Field 39, which is the largest field on the map, 141.45 acres in size, $3.4 million. Then we have field 36, a stark contrast at 2.5 acres in size, $61,000. Field 30, which includes a little bit of forest around it, is 3.7 acres at $89,000. Now, the main starting farmyard here is 2.86 acres. And if you start up on Farm Manager or start from scratch, you're going to be able to buy this for $205,000. We have a secondary farmyard here, which includes a cow area and a large constructor shed. This is not owned in Farm Manager or start from scratch, but you can buy it for $93,600. Field 1 is owned at the start. It is 8.95 acres and $217,000. And field 24 is 4.28 acres at nearly $104,000. Now we do have on this map all of the standard crop types available to us here on Farm Sim 22. And if we take a look at our field calculator, you're going to get a general sense of the size of each individual field. So you can see we've got smaller fields, like field 2 is 0.68 hectares in size, while we have field 5, which is 4.94. We have field 11, which is 5.04 hectares in size. Field 18 is 2.5. Then we have field 19, which is just 0.5. Then we get up here to some of the very much larger fields. We have a 14.26 hectares. We have 15.62. We have 14, 28, 32, 28, and 55 hectares in size. come down here to our farmland lease screen. The reason we're showing this is it shows us the buyable farmlands, and not all farmlands are associated with fields. But when they are associated with fields, we do have the field number associated here and the hectare size and also the cost to purchase. So we can get a general idea of what each buyable plot of land is going to cost us. So buyable plot, which includes field 2, is just $45,000. Meanwhile, buyable plot 12, which includes field 9, is $238,000. We're going to come down here to some of the larger plots, and we're going to get numbers a lot bigger than that. We've got one here, 15 hectares in size, $906,000, 18 hectares in size, $1.1 million, $1.7 million, $2 million, and then the large boy, $3.4 million. Let's go ahead and take a look at our crop counter. We have the base game crop counter available to us here on the map. And if we take a look at our prices screen, we're going to see that we can indeed sell all of the crops that we can grow in the base game of Farming Simulator 22, including sugar beet cut. We also have the ability to sell all of our animal outputs in eggs, wool, and milk. We have sell points for wood chips, silage, hay straw, and grass. And then we get into production, and this is where the map starts to just completely unravel for our scoring system. So one of our scoring systems is, can we sell all the base game crops, animal outputs, and base game production elements? We've seen we can sell all the animal outputs. We can sell all the base game crops. When it comes to production elements, it's just easier if I tell you what we can sell. That's how bad it is. We can sell flour. We can sell butter. We can sell sugar, honey. We can sell raisins. And we can also sell strawberries. But that is the only production items that we can sell. And the only reason we can sell these is because the map includes a dairy and a bakery that we can buy. So the bakery obviously accepts strawberries. We have a cereal factory on the map that accepts raisins. We have a cereal factory that accepts honey. We have a bakery and a dairy that accepts sugar. We talked about having a cereal factory that accepts honey and raisins, but it outputs cereal, but we can't sell cereal. We can't sell anything that the included factories make unless they happen to be used downline in another factory that just so happens to be pre-placed on the map. So it really seems to me that production has been a complete oversight by the map maker. Yes, the map includes 7 production elements, which we are going to talk about later, but just based on the prices screen here and what you can sell, the only reason I can sell flour is because I have a bakery. The only reason I can sell butter is because I have a bakery, and the bakery accepts flour and butter. Same with sugar. Same with strawberries, because I can't sell tomatoes and I can't sell lettuce. I can only sell strawberries, and it's only because the bakery happens to accept it. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's take a look at our vehicle overview. So we own all of our vehicles. None of that is leased. We do have one large cow barn pre-placed on the map in new farmer mode, but we do not have any cows at the start. We do have contracts available to us, and we do not own any production at the start. Let's go ahead and take a look at that starting fleet. We start out with the Steyr 8150 small tractor, the Valtra 8750, and Massey Ferguson 3670 medium tractors. We have the Dutzfar Topliner 4090H harvester that is paired up with the Topliner 4090H grain header, and then of course the Topliner 4090H grain header trailer. We have the 2017 pickup truck and the Welger DK115 trailer. We have the Rabe EG39 cultivator, the HK25 NS3030 Nordstein seeder. We have a Pottinger NovaCat 301 AM ED Pro front mower. that is paired up with the Faro 4010D forage wagon. And then we have a pair of front 750 kilogram weights. With that listing done, now let's go ahead and just kind of take a look at our starting farm. One of the main items that we ask ourselves when we take a look at these maps and give them a review score is, can we customize the farms? Kind of on this map. The answer is kind of, but I don't really think you want to. At least you don't want to here, because I'm going to go ahead and put up a image that I took when I was doing a cursory look of the map. And you're going to see, if you sell this building, all the decoration stays, and you can't get rid of it. So basically, this building you should never sell, because you don't want the decoration just floating in midair. And yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at that picture. So that is exactly why you should leave this building in place. And like I said, in all play modes, this building exists. It just doesn't have any machinery in it in the other play modes, but it does exist. We do have a sleep trigger located over here. Let's see if I can't find it. There we have our sleep trigger. If we do sell the building, we also sell the sleep trigger, but all of this decorative elements that we see, all of these decorative elements up here, they all stay with the map, as you saw in that image. So while you can sell this building, I really don't think you want to, because of the aftermath as a result. You can sell this shed right here without too much hassle, but you can't sell the lights, so the light poles are going to remain. So if you do want to sell this building, you will have to work around these lights that are on either side of the building. And then other decorative elements like these dumpsters and containers, they're going to remain on the map. As you can see, we do have collectibles available on the map. They are the Elm Creek collectibles. And the fence is permanently in place. We cannot sell the fence here at the main farm or any of the other decorative elements for that regard. So that is kind of the main farm here. I'm going to just run up the street to the secondary farmyard. And then we'll talk about that. You see that off in the distance. So overall, as I said, this map includes 7 pre-placed production elements. They include the biogas plant, the bakery, the dairy, the grain mill, cereal factory, spinnery, and sawmill. But we can't sell any of the outputs. We can't sell bread, we can't sell cakes, we can't sell chocolate, we can't sell cheese. We can sell butter, but that's only because the bakery takes it. The grain mill, we can sell flour, but that's only because the bakery takes it. The cereal mill, we can't sell cereal. We can sell raisins to the cereal mill, and we can sell honey to the cereal mill, and we can sell oats to the cereal mill, but we can't sell cereal. The spinnery, we can sell wool to the spinnery, but we can't sell fabric to anywhere unless we put down a tailor, and then we can't sell clothing anywhere. And the sawmill, don't buy it because you can't sell the planks anywhere. But if you do want to play this map, I have a saving grace for you, because today in the mod hub, a mod came out that allows you to place it down on the map and allows you to sell everything, because it's called Sell Everything. And it's a saving grace for maps like this that, for whatever reason, don't allow you to sell everything that you can make or sell everything that you can produce. So if you do want to play this map, I would strongly consider downloading the Sell Everything mod in addition to the map. So here we have the base game large cow barn. I don't think we really need to, at this point, go over where these triggers are located. We can sell this building without any issues whatsoever. We also have the base game silage bunker here. We can sell this without any issue whatsoever. And we can also sell the large contractor building here without any issue whatsoever. But the decorative cars that you see parked around, they remain. If you sell these buildings, you cannot get rid of the cars. You also cannot get rid of the fence that comes around this whole area. That fence is permanently placed. Then we have our farm silo right here. So we have a base game farm silo. We have our dump station and our fill pipe right there. So that's going to conclude our farm tour. We're going to go ahead and get set up for the fly around. We're going to fly around the map and then come back to the shop, get into our Mahindra, and drive around to the various sell points, factories, and other points of interest. So we get a little bit of altitude here and go ahead and kind of do a little bit of a 360. You can see that the BGA is right up here by this secondary farmyard. The fields are smaller to the north, and then as we start looking more towards the south of the map, the fields get larger, and they, quite frankly, get much, much larger as you move south. So with respect to the biogas plant, this building right here is where you're going to be able to purchase digestate. Of course, if you own the biogas plant, then you can pull digestate out of it. Right there, we're going to go through the rest of the biogas plant in more detail when we get around to the fly around portion of the map. Or sorry, the drive around portion of the map tour, I should say. Get a little bit of altitude and kind of make our way across the northern side of the map. Overall, the map is fairly flat. I wouldn't say it is absolutely flat, but it is fairly flat. We're not going to have too much trouble here with rolling hills or inclines and maybe being a little bit underpowered with respect to our horsepower. Really large forestry area here, so if you are into forestry, that'll give you something to do maybe during the winter months or your off time. We've got our sawmill located over here. And again, I do not, under any circumstance, actually suggest that you buy the sawmill because we can't sell planks or furniture on the map. Unless, of course, you put down a possible buy point. Now, at this point, everything that you see to the south is all going to be farmland. I'm going to go ahead and just loop back around toward the town. We have our animal dealer. We have one of our production facilities. I believe that is the cereal mill down to the right. The main shop is located directly below. We're going to come back to that. You see some various buyable plots of land. Now, this one is kind of in town, and I was saying that you couldn't buy plots of land in town. So you can buy that plot of land, the plot of land on either side, or basically on the one side of the shop. You can buy this one here on the other side of the street. Not sure why you can't buy that parking lot, unless that parking lot is where the vehicles spawn. We also have a buyable plot of land over here. As far as possible future expansion, putting down other factories, putting down other sell points. a bit of a equestrian area set up over here. The map does not include a actual horse farm, but this is clearly some sort of kind of livestock area or equestrian area. We have a bale sell point. We have another grain sell point. And then we have our flour mill, grain mill located right there. And they're just going to go ahead and circle back to the shop at this point. That's where we're going to get our Mahindra and do our drive around. So we can buy this grass plot here. And we can buy the grass plot that is behind the shop. But we cannot buy this area here because I think this is where our vehicles are going to spawn in at. Now that I'm thinking about it, we have our shop trigger located right here. And there we do indeed, across the street, have our vehicle spawn point. Customize, repair, sell, and trade trigger marker is going to be located right here behind the buildings. We do have a fairly large area for machinery to spawn in at. Here we have our animal dealer to buy animals if we put down additional animal pens, or to buy our cows if we just leave the cow area there. We have the Otis cereal factory. We have our dump station. We also, we have our dump station marked there with trigger markers also. We have our pallet spawn point, our interactive icon. And I'm going to go ahead and jump down to one of the other criteria that usually we cover toward the end of a video, and that is player trigger areas being clearly marked. Because we're going to give the map a half of a point. Just a half a point with respect to that, because they're not clearly marked in Farm Sim 22 regards. They are okay marked for Farm Sim 19 and before, in that there are little hash marks in various places to let you know that there's something going on here. But we don't have the little floaty icon to basically indicate, is this a fill trigger? Is this a dump trigger? Is it a maintenance trigger? Like we have our wrench over there. So this is one of those viable and buildable plots of land. Going over here to the left of the road is also one of the viable buildable plots of land. And then I believe this area over here to our right is also a viable buildable plot of land. I mean, overall, my initial thoughts on this map, and if you will, my first impressions on this map, are that it's an FS19 map. It's definitely come over from FS19. We've looked at this map before. It may have also been in FS17 for all that I can remember, which isn't much of FS17 at this point. It is indeed a convert from FS17, or sorry, from FS19. But as you can see here, it works in FS22, but it hasn't really been updated to FS22. And meaning we don't have the little floaty icons here. We have the sell point. This is that place. So we have that, but we have the trigger markers, but we don't have the little floaty icon. And we have the little floaty icon where we have FS22 things, where we have Farm Sim 22 production buildings, or the biogas plant, or the shop. But where we have other things that are not FS22 that are still on the map, we have just the standard trigger markers. So here we have our fuel station. And here's another example. We have, except here we have an FS22 building. We have an FS22 dump station. So this is obviously a sell point, but we do not have the FS22 floating icon again. So that is an export location, and there we have another one of our little collectible sheep. So as I said, we're going to give the map a half a point with respect to trigger markers being clearly marked, because players who are new to Farm Sim and Farm Sim 22 may not necessarily pick up all that quick that just because it doesn't have a little floaty thing doesn't mean that it's not a sell point, because their only experience has been with FS22. Players that have played the game for a while will acknowledge that, okay, I know what a dump grate looks like. I've seen dump grates before through various iterations of the game. I've seen areas marked with the yellow and black hashes. I know what that means. So I can kind of figure out that, hey, this must be a sell point of some sort, and I can figure it out from there. But for newer players to the game, they may not necessarily pick up on that because they don't have these interactive icons. So here we are at the spinnery. We have our dump point. We have our pallet spawn point. We have our interactive trigger back there at the back. With respect to the building, using where appropriate new texture techniques. Most of these buildings, excluding, let's say, this one here in the corner, most of these buildings are carryovers, converts from the FS19 version of the map. That's not saying that it is a negative thing. The buildings don't look bad at all. It's just that it is not making use of the new texture technique, and that is just happens to be one of our review criteria. So we're going to give the map a half a point on that regard also. Where we do have new buildings, obviously they are using the new technique, but where we don't have new buildings, most of them are older buildings that have been brought forward from at least the FS19 version of the map. So we have Morgan's Bakery, interactive icon in the front, pallet spawn point and a dump station in the back. I want to go this way and make our way over here to these two locations marked on the map. Then we'll come back to the biogas plant. So with respect to the other ratings, production being built in, we're going to get a full point on that. We've got 7 production items built in, and we have various placements where you can put down additional production items. So we're going to get a full point on that regard. Here we have a bale sell point. And the only obvious indicator that this is going to be a bale sell point is the trigger markers and bales being there. I would like to have seen that floaty little icon. And here we have a possible other sell point. See where are we at? We've got that place, and then we have the grain mill, which is located right there. So let's actually tag this. There are triggers there. We also have a trigger bag here, as if this is where we're going to be able to possibly sell slurry. It goes back to those floaty little icons are extremely helpful to identify where things are, and for a new player to the map or a new player to the game, those floaty icons I think are critical to helping the player out understand where things might go. So we have our grain mill, we have our dump station, our interactive icon, and our pallet spawn point. So as we said, with respect to the base game, or does the map include sell points for all of the base game crops, production items, animal outputs? It includes that for the crops, the animal outputs, but not for the production. Very little production is actually available for sale on the map as the map is presented. So we're going to give the map a quarter of a point, just a quarter of a point on that regard, because there's just so many fill types that are excluded that you as a player can produce. And the fact that we can't sell our bread or cakes, we can't sell cheese or chocolate from the dairy, we can't sell cereal from the cereal factory, we can't sell fabric from the spinnery or planks from the sawmill, and the fact that all of those production items are built into this map, I think it deserves the quarter point and just the quarter point. Can the farms be customized? Here, yes. Here, the silo goes away, the two buildings go away, the silage bunker goes away. All that's left are the lights, the parked cars, and the fence around it. And all of those things are fairly well removed from the middle, which gives you plenty of freedom. Over at the other farmyard, not so much. The biggest building in that area, if you sell it, well, all the decorative items around it and in it remain. And they remain in a floating manner, kind of in the way. The other building that you can sell is flanked by two streetlights on poles that you can't get rid of, so that really reduces the overall usability of that in any alternate configuration. So that's why I basically put down that you could technically customize the farm, but you may not really want to because of the lack of flexibility over at the secondary farmyard. So here we have the digestate buy point, and I had to come over here with a tractor and a digestate tanker to see if this was a sell point or a buy point, and this allows you to purchase digestate. And if we look at how it is marked on the map, it's just called digestate replenishment. So I thought maybe it was a way to sell digestate, like if you had too much, you could sell it back. But no, it is to actually purchase digestate. Scale, and then we come on over here and we have our digester. We have our dump point for slurry. We have our interactive icon, and then we have our fill trigger for digestate. We've already talked about buildings being appropriate with the texture technique, a half a point. The trigger markers being clearly indicated, a half a point. So we're going to give the map a 2.75 out of 5. And where it really kind of lost points at was it lost points on the production. It lost points on not being able to sell the other buildings at the main farmyard and actually have a usable farmyard. So if you could sell the big building, you could sell the light poles, and you could sell the decorative bits, or the decorative bits went away with the main building, then that area would be fully functional, and we've gotten a full point for that particular level of criteria. The trigger markers, if we just had the little floaty bits, that would have gone a long way to give a full point there. And of course the crops, like I've mentioned. Now I'm going to go ahead and quickly fill this full of chaff because I want to see if I can dump in here or not. So let's just go ahead and do that. Hold on. So we cannot make use of the biogas plant with bunkers here because we can't dump material into it because we can't buy it. As I was thinking. So it is not buyable land. Trying to buy it right now. There's not buyable land. We can't buy the little bunkers by themselves. Sometimes I've seen the bunker areas are buyable, but the land that the BGA is on isn't, but this is not. So we can't make use of these silage bunkers whatsoever. We're going to have to make use of this silage bunker that's over here in order to sell at the BGA. So guys, let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of Bredow? Hopefully the map's going to get updated and some of these issues are going to be resolved. And ultimately, if we look at this map in a second look, which sadly I do not do, I often do not come back and revisit maps simply because there's just so many maps out there. And it's nearly impossible to revisit every single map with every single update. And then to try to remember where things were with the initial version to comment on how they are better or worse in the next version. It's really hard to do. So just keep an eye out on this map for a possible update in the future that will hopefully fix the inability to use the BGA bunkers, that will hopefully fix the fact that when you sell this building, all the decorative bits around it and in it remain, and hopefully to add the various sell points items or the production items to sell points around the map. And until next time, happy farming.